Any views or opinions expressed on KUR are not necessarily those of Kutztown University, Kutztown University Student Government, Kutztown University Student Services Incorporated, KUR staff and management, or other affiliated organizations.
Kutztown Live. Kutztown University Campus's campus and community interest radio magazine. You can call Kutztown Live at 610-683-4859. And now, your host for Kutztown Live, Juliana Jablonski.
Good afternoon and welcome to Kutztown Live, Kutztown University's campus and community talk show. I am your host, Juliana Jablonski, and for the last time this year, my co-host and KU's homecoming king, George Fladeland. George will be leaving us for an internship next semester. It is sad that you are leaving. How do you feel?
It is very sad. A lot of great memories here in the show on Kutztown Live, and now co-hosting this semester with you, Juliana. It's been a great roller coaster, and I'm going to miss it a lot.
Well, it's super exciting that you got an internship and you'll be graduating and moving on with life, but it's been great having you here on air with us this year.
Can I stay in college forever?
Right.
Please.
Today on the show, we have Lori Donofrio-Galley from the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. She is always keeping us up to date about all things going on in the chamber. And as always, she brings with her a special guest. And this week, she brought along Jerry Shearer, an employee here at KU. He is the Associate Dean for Inclusion and Outreach, and he is also the President of Kutztown Community Partnership and is a chamber member. Later on, we will hear from a KU alum, and then Mike O'Mara will be talking to us a little bit about Student Government Board. Here with us now is Lori and Jerry Shearer. Hello and welcome back to Kutztown Live.
Thank you very much, Juliana. We're so happy to be here, and I will share some information, as you mentioned, about chamber activities. Last Friday, we hosted our first Chamber Holiday Potluck and Giving Tree project, and it was very successful. And I just want to let the listeners know that we have a number of ornaments remaining on our tree at the Chamber office at 110 West Main Street. And these ornaments represent suggested donations for a number of our nonprofit partners. And anyone can stop by the office through the remainder of the month to pick up an item to help benefit one of those nonprofit groups. Coming up in January, continuing with our monthly meetings, we will have our annual economic forecast breakfast, and that will be held here at Kutztown University. That is always a well-attended meeting. Please register online at northeastberkschamber.com. You can reserve your seat in advance for $15. And of course, that will be catered by the wonderful Aramark Catering here at the university. For all other monthly meetings and other events and networking activities, again, please visit us at northeastberkschamber.com or contact me directly at 610-683-8860 or ldg@northeastberkschamber.com. As you mentioned, Juliana, today we have Jerry Shearer, who is not only the Associate Dean for Inclusion and Outreach here at Kutztown University, but he is also about to embark upon his second term as President of Kutztown Community Partnership. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do here at the university and then how you got involved with Kutztown Community Partnership?
Sure, no problem. So at the university, my current position, Associate Dean for Inclusion and Outreach, our inclusion part is I have my hands kind of in anything dealing with diversity on campus, including the management over the Women's Center, Multicultural Center, LGBTQ Center, and the Frederick Douglass Institute, and other committees and projects that surround anything dealing with diversity on campus. The outreach part is I have the other opportunity of working with some great students in our volunteer center called Community Outreach Center, where I oversee that center, and we get out into the community both here in Kutztown and really around Berks County, Schuylkill County, getting out into the community, doing anything, working with children, animals, the environment, you name it. Our students are doing thousands of hours of community service each semester to help improve the community. And it's kind of through that kind of my natural involvement in the community that got involved in Kutztown Community Partnership many years ago as a volunteer, then a board member, committee member, and now as president.
Well, that's very interesting. When did you start working at the university, Jerry?
I came to Kutztown in 2008.
Okay, so you've been here for quite a few years
Yes.
already. That's wonderful. And I believe you're a new resident of Kutztown, is that correct?
Yes, I just moved, bought a house, my first house, and I bought it on Noble Street, right in the middle of all the action, just this past May.
That means you can walk to the many events organized by KCP. Is that correct?
I can walk to the events. I can walk to all the stores and restaurants as well as the university. It's a great place to be.
Now, I'm sure many people have heard KCP or Kutztown Community Partnership. Why don't you tell us exactly what the organization does and the types of events that they host during the year?
Sure. The main thing Kutztown Community Partnership is all about is making Kutztown a better place to live and to work. We do one of our main goals is to facilitate communication and collaboration between the university, the businesses, the borough, and including the school district as well. So it's kind of getting those four prongs together. We try to have representatives from all those four in Kutztown Community Partnership and really get people to work together to make Kutztown a better place to be. We do that through definitely our events. That brings the community together. The idea is to bring the town and the students together, having fun, enjoying each other, enjoying all that Kutztown has to offer. But we also do economic development, where we try to bring in new businesses, working with you in the chamber, of course, anything we can do between the chamber and the development office downtown of the borough to entice new businesses or to help them find space, as well as help businesses that are already here have a larger role in the community. So as economic development, it's just a whole range of things we try to do.
Well, I think the organization has been successful because in the short time that I've worked at the Chamber over the last 2.5 years, I've seen a number of small businesses move into not only the Main Street, but into the whole shopping district.
Yes. Although we were once a Main Street program, we really are working with all of Kutztown. So at one point, with certain grants, we were limited to Main Street and some of the businesses there. But yeah, our outreach goes all of Kutztown. Actually, what I refer to as the greater Kutztown community,
Right.
which is anything from Allentown down to Reading. It's all
Right.
the greater Kutztown area.
I think that's an important point to make.
Yes.
That's great. And I just wanted to add, I know you had Christmas in Kutztown this past weekend. How was attendance for that?
Attendance was great. We had just the perfect weather as far as cold enough to know that it was winter, but not freezing cold. A couple years ago, it was kind of freezing rain. So we had good turnout. We had great entertainment. Great vendors. They all seemed to do well. Several of our businesses said they did well. That they weren't vendors, but they were off Main Street and they had customers in, which really is the idea behind these events. It's not just the events themselves, but to get customers downtown,
Right.
Especially new people that have never been to Kutztown before.
And on the heels of Small Business Saturday,
Yes.
which was the week before, that's a whole week of positive retail activity, I think.
Definitely, and it was great to work with some of the small businesses and the chamber itself, again, in promoting that through posters and the bags and everything like that for Small Business Saturday.
All right. Well, thank you to both of you for coming on to Kutztown Live on this rainy, almost Tuesday afternoon. Lori, it looks like I won't be seeing you till next year.
Juliana, that's very distressing. What?
Right? 2018. This is the last chamber segment on Kutztown Live for the year, unless I don't know if you do it over winter break or anything, but I won't
Well,
be here
actually,
for that.
this is Mike, the producer, popping in here. Lori and I might do one or two over the break.
I'm sure we will,
We have
Mike.
yet to do that. I usually take reins of the
I know
show.
over the summer and things.
Yeah,
that happens.
Maybe on a once a month basis or something, but we'll try to keep it going on an occasional basis until you return.
Yes, for
Yeah.
2018. My goodness, this semester flew by, but
All right.
yeah. Well, I hope you have a wonderful winter break, and I'll be seeing you next year.
You too, Juliana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Jerry for also coming on this afternoon, and we'll be back with more of Kutztown Live.
It's Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us.
Do you ever feel isolated? Hi, I'm Brianna Rode. Feeling isolated and lonely is a pretty common problem here on Earth. It's not fun and it can make you absolutely miserable. So how do you think astronauts feel? Astronauts are isolated in outer space for weeks, months, or even years. So you could imagine it would eventually start to have some serious effects on their physical and mental health. Isolation itself only really causes a few health concerns, including depression, anxiety, and high stress levels. The rest are side effects of the high stress levels. High stress levels can lead to obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease. Being an astronaut, you have to be in the best physical health possible, and heart disease and high blood pressure don't really help. Along with the risks of high stress levels, some of the direct effects of isolation are anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression take a lot out of people mentally under normal circumstances, so being in a confined spaceship in high-stress situations is not the most ideal position to be in. In fact, high-stress situations can make anxiety and depression worse. Anxiety and depression can consume your thoughts and distract you from your work and objectives. So not only is this pretty bad for the astronauts' mental health, it can also put their missions at risk along with their lives. Besides the mental health risks, isolation also can make day-to-day living very difficult. In one study, people who were isolated under normal conditions on Earth had more trouble doing simple tasks like moving around, dressing themselves, and eating. Being isolated in such a small area in outer space would make these tasks even harder. Everyday things like eating and moving around are extremely difficult to do in space, so when you add the effects of isolation onto that, the tasks may become nearly impossible, which unfortunately just increases stress levels even more. Such high stress levels can actually weaken your immune system, and having a weak immune system in a confined space with other people can lead to higher risk of illness and disease, which pretty much means that the more isolated you are, the more likely you are to be constantly sick, and even worse, it increases your risk of death at a younger age. One study showed that it is more likely that you die at a younger age if you are isolated for long periods of time. Other studies have found mixed results, but you can assume the increase in mortality rates is probably due to all of the health risks. Clearly, isolation causes many health risks and physical problems. The high-stress environment of being confined in space only heightens these problems. I think we all need to pay a little more attention to the health risks involved with isolation, especially when it comes to the astronauts already putting their lives at risk.
Telescopic Topics, a look into the world above us. Stay tuned to KUR for more Telescopic Topics. Telescopic Topics is a production of the KU Physical Sciences Department and is recorded by KU astronomy students in the studios of KUR. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
And we're back here on Kutztown Live on the radio station here of KUR, Kutztown University Radio. I'm the co-host, George Fladeland, alongside Juliana Jablonski, as always, for the entire semester of this past fall 2017, and it's coming to an end.
Yes, it is. You hosted, what year did you host Kutztown Live?
I hosted the spring of 2015.
Okay, because I hosted it last year, and I think between us was Shantae.
Shantae, yeah.
I think she did it also. So, are you happy, sad to be how do you feel? What are your emotions?
It's probably about time I get on with life and the world and stuff, and get one of those jobby jobs. That'd be nice. But for next semester, I'm just really pumped and excited to get working with the Patriot League Athletic Conference. So,
and I just wanted to pop in from over here as the producer and advisor of this fine organization. Thank you so much for all of your great work over the years, George. You'll be greatly missed.
Well, I appreciate it, Mike.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're going to go on to do great things. And so you told us about your internship. Where do we see George Fladeland in 5, 10, 20 years? President of the U.S., something along those lines?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not as
just
rich or wealthy.
Go for
as
governor,
Donald
I
Trump.
guess.
Go for governor.
Governor of Pennsylvania. Okay, that's a good start.
No, I don't know. Hopefully on the sidelines of sporting events and covering sports and
okay.
Either that or the live production of sports. I really like the whole idea of doing, documentary work. Hopefully in sports. Theme here, but I don't know. I just want to, I guess, not have like a normal accounting day job like some of my other friends. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. Something fun.
Huh. I'm glad. I've seen like some videos you shared that you've done or posted and different things like that. But it's cool that we got to do this. So in case you're famous one day, I'll be like, yeah, I did that.
I don't know if I'll be famous.
On the NFL videos. You'll be a producer, producing whatever, making videos. I don't know if you do a documentary. I've just seen you do really cool work. I've seen different videos, and I was like, wow, that's super cool. It's better than anything I could ever do in iMovie and split clips and all that. But that's cool. What would be your dream job? If someone offered you a position right after you graduated, you'd say yes. What would that be?
Oh gosh, really put me on the spot here. I guess a team videographer for a sports organization.
Is there any specific one that would be like a dream to work for? Like,
I mean, probably the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Them or the Philadelphia Union.
Are you a big football fan, or is there like a soccer fan?
I mean, I'm a big football fan, but this past summer I had like a soccer opportunity, so I really like the idea of soccer growing in our country and kind of get behind that bandwagon of sorts, I guess, and kind of following the rise of soccer in our country. So minus the fact that the United States men's national team didn't qualify for the World Cup this year, but that's a whole entire other story.
Huh. All right. Well, that's super exciting. I guess some other things. I don't know. I guess it would have been Sunday night into Monday. Did you see the moon?
I did not.
It was the last supermoon of 2017.
Sunday into Monday, you said?
I think it was the 3rd, which would have been, Sunday into Monday.
I probably did see it. I just didn't realize what it was. It did look very big.
Like, I was driving home from Baltimore, actually, on Sunday. And
shouldn't you be paying attention to the road?
I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger driver's seat. But I didn't even know it was the moon. I was like, what is that? Because it didn't look real. It looked so fake. It was just, it was the last supermoon of 2017. It was just big and red in the sky. And at first I thought it was some billboard. I was like, wow, that's really cool. But I don't know. It was just super cool.
Yeah,
I actually didn't see that, no. Wow, that would have been really cool.
And I heard an interesting fact, or an interesting piece of trivia, that it was just basically, the supermoon was just basically an optical illusion. There was really nothing different. It was just how our eyes interpreted it, because to make a very long scientific explanation short, with the air being colder this time of year, the atmosphere, basically there was less atmosphere for the sight to go through of sorts, so our eyes interpreted it as bigger when really nothing was different. So it's just an optical illusion.
I couldn't stop staring at it. I was like, wow, that is just the coolest thing.
Yep.
Oh, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
I guess you're into weather. You do your little weather broadcast.
Yeah, I'm more into
so maybe you know a little bit more about the moon.
Well, I'm more into weather than I am astronomy. That's kind of its own little sub-chapter there.
That's true.
But I did hear that, and I found that interesting, so I thought I would share. So, yeah.
That's super cool. I just thought that was super cool. I wrote that down.
Mike's got all the tidbits.
Right?
That's what I'm here for.
Thanks. Let's see. Be sure to follow the KURadio on Twitter, because we're always posting different contests and things. So if you want to win, I don't know, just recently they had Jay-Z tickets that someone won. They're always working with the businesses down Main Street and a lot of students. Anyone, you just go on the Twitter. It's at KURadio, KURadio on Twitter, and they're always posting different contests. And so if you literally just retweet it, they will contact you if you want, and you can win free food from up and down Main Street or different things. So that's been something really cool that KUR has been doing. So I thought I'd make note of that on air for everyone to hear.
Oh yeah, and my I'm sure Mike O'Mara would love to hear this one, but but even my friends were coming up to me like, yo, like KUR, like that's legit, man. Like I want some tickets, dude. Like, George, I know you're in that. Like, can you get me some tickets, dude? No, I can't.
Right?
Follow, retweet. It's a fire account that you should be following.
I think he just posted on our Facebook page that now we have I think it's 1,300 followers now. So we hit a mark, and so that's super cool. I know my phone's always blowing up with notifications from Mike O'Mara, but I know he's always working hard to make sure people know about it. And I definitely think a lot more people have heard about it and have found out different things. So that's just been super cool to see it grow, and a lot of other people just to hear about it. So that's definitely been cool. Let's see. Some other news. Did you, in your high school days, and I guess the past few years, watch Vine? Were you a Vine fan? Do you get Vine references?
You know,
and things?
Yes, I get the Vine references. I do, but I would find them on the Twitter. I find them on the Twitter.
Were you a user of the Vine app at all?
No, I was a very amateur one, and I just didn't really grasp it.
Okay.
As some other very people who do grasp it very well. Grasp the Vine, but yeah, they were entertaining. Very
it was like
entertaining.
a thing. Me and my friends, we would sit around and just watch funny Vines, and like that was how we passed the time. Like that was great. And I guess if you're on Twitter, you probably see everyone's tweeting like "R.I.P. Vine, bring back Vine." I don't know. Have you seen people that post
I have.
that?
Yes, indeed.
Apparently, it's in the works that the founder of Vine is now working on a follow-up app. So that's some news that I'm waiting to hear about because I'm excited. I miss Vine every day, but that's exciting.
Every day?
Not every day, but I think about it in the funny videos that have been on it. Tomorrow, I randomly just wrote this. Tomorrow's the Are You the One finale. That's a big show. I also talked about American Idol's coming back. Did you know that? A lot of people know that. How do you feel about that?
ABC or CBS?
ABC.
ABC.
Yep.
Because they had their
Tidbits.
farewell season and now they're back.
Let me ask you guys this: do you see it as being successful? I mean, because Fox took it off because it had pretty much run its 14-year course and it was growing stale. Do you think putting it on a different network, getting some new judges, and maybe changing a couple rules are going to make it more successful again? I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm a little skeptical.
I was talking about it on my country show this morning. The judges are, I don't know if you know who the judges, it's Lionel Richie,
Yep.
Katy Perry,
Yep.
and Luke Bryan.
Yeah, that's right.
And Ryan Seacrest is still hosting it, I
Right.
do believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely think that's an interesting mix of people to be putting together.
I don't know. Maybe it was just like my childhood and like growing up. Like that was the show we all watched.
It was mostly the auditions that I liked. You just went to watch like the funny auditions, but even through the past few years, they weren't as funny. They didn't show many funny ones anymore. They were just kind of like semi-okay people that you couldn't like laugh at or remember the next day. Because I always remember like in like middle school or even high school, we'd come in and be like, "Did you see so and so sing this?" And like everyone would talk about it. Like, I don't know.
My wife and I were so into that show for the first 5 or so years, and then each and every year we got less and less interested. And by the time we rolled around to like season 7 or so, we just didn't care anymore.
For a while, that was like my family show. We'd all gather around and we'd watch it at night, and it was.
So I mean,
great.
I'll give the ABC version a chance, but I'm not really expecting to be, as good.
I think there's a lot of other singing shows out there that have just.
Simon was the best though. Remember Simon?
Oh yes.
The British guy that always hated everybody.
Yep. Simon, Paula, and Randy.
He's what made the show. I mean, because he
was just mean.
But that's what made it funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I was. Like even Ellen, I was looking up who the past judges were. Ellen DeGeneres was one. Nicki Minaj was one of them. So they've had a lot of different people and a lot of different musical type talents. So I don't know. I think maybe I'll watch it this year. It's March 11th. It comes out. Mark your calendars.
What did that Randy guy do?
Randy Jackson?
Yeah.
What do you
was
mean?
he like a
he was
producer?
He was a big record producer, I think.
Okay,
yeah, I think he was involved in a record company. I'd have to look that up. But you're right. Yeah, it was like
that's true. I didn't even think about it. Why was he there?
I could.
I guess.
You
what did Simon do? He produced. Didn't he like help produce the show and things?
Well, yeah. He pretty much was one of the creators.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he and the money behind it. I mean, he funded it and created it when it first was getting off the ground. And then Paula, where we know of Paula, she was a singer. But I think Randy Jackson was a record producer, I believe.
I think you're right. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
He had like some
that makes sense.
I don't know. A lot of good artists and singers definitely came from there. I don't know. Carrie Underwood was one of them that I like. Kelly Clarkson.
That's about it for
who
me.
Else? Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Pickler. I don't know if she won. Scotty McCreery is another one. David Archuleta didn't win, but he was on there and got his fame from that. I don't know. There's definitely been a lot of good artists that have come out from it, I think. And I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of people who want to become an artist to kind of have their chance. And so maybe even if it's not as big of a thing as it was, I guess maybe some new singers will come out of it. Maybe we'll hear some new people on the radio. Heck, maybe next year we'll be playing someone.
I still feel like that whole show is kind of like a whole conspiracy theory with like, it's all rigged because like, come on, Fox wants to create a superstar so that they can sell records, so they can get more money. That was my whole thing with it, like growing up and watching, like, oh, they probably pick like a couple of people and then they advance them all. Obviously, they have to have some talent.
I'm getting a text from my sister, Hannah, right now. I guess, hi, Hannah. Thanks for listening. She's saying Simon Cowell didn't produce a show that was Simon Fuller, but I think it was Simon Cowell also.
Well, she is right. There are two Simons. No, she's absolutely right. But I know, well, Simon Cowell was somehow heavily involved with getting it off the ground. But no, she is right. There is a Simon Fuller as well, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, your family really is American Idol experts. Very good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like our time, here now is coming to a close. We have an interview from KU Alum and then Mike O'Mara talking about SGB. Thank you, George, for being here and helping me co-host this year. It's been wonderful having you.
It's been a great time. Been a really great time. I don't know what to say outside than that, but we've had our good times here.
For sure.
Chilling in the studio.
All right, here comes the KU Alum interview. Have a wonderful rest of your week and have a great winter break.
Ayo.
Listen every Sunday evening at 5 p.m. for Kim Scott and the Block Party Radio. You will hear the best in urban, smooth, Latin jazz, and the jazz standards that you love. Hear it here at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
Hi, my name is Michael O'Mara. Not only am I the president of KUR, I am also the PR chair for Student Government's board here at Kutztown University. You can find us on social media by using hashtag KUSGB or on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Now that harmless plug is out of the way, let me talk a little bit about why I'm talking to you now. KUSGB just wrapped up elections for the 2018 spring semester, and mid-year elections typically don't do that well. And by well, I mean not a lot of participation. However, that was not the case this time around. According to Matt Assad, KUSSI's director of stuff, he mentioned something really unique, something that I've never heard before, something he's never heard before, in that mid-year elections reached 700 plus participants. That number does not hit, that number does not match or make sense in some ways. That was record participation for mid-year elections and above what is considered to be end-of-year elections, which typically have more participants because there's more people leaving. You know, just the fact that it's an entire year round. That's something that is unique. That is something that has not happened. So 700 total people participated, KU students participated via KU United. That's something that was incredible. We did not expect that as a board, and we are grateful that people participated. The people that won put together a phenomenal campaign. I've never seen, as a student government board member, as a PR chair, I have never seen this level of dedication, this level of consistency, this level of appropriateness. I saw posting that was multimodal. It wasn't just, hi, I'm me, vote for me. It wasn't just an image. It wasn't just a video. It was all of it. It was multifaceted. It was consistent. There was trending hashtags. There was multimodal posts with links attached to them. There was videos. There was text-based stuff. It was a combination. It was a multitude of great content distributed weekly and consistently. It was over the course of about a week. Nomination process was over the course of about 2 weeks, and that was self-based, so you didn't have to do any campaigning. However, the election process was from November 27th to December 1st, and that was highly contested. Because like I said, 700 total votes for these following winners. So, liberal arts and science. Liberal arts and science is a pretty big group here on campus, pretty big college. We have 10 total representatives here on the board, which means that if people aren't representing, that's a decent chunk of these students that aren't being properly represented. Now, the 4 people that did win, there was 4 open seats for this semester. Clarissa Fries, Eric Scholden, Julian Nattle, and Isabel Wadlow. Those 4 individuals are now serving as your liberal arts and sciences representative here at Kutztown University Student Government Board. Education, Emily Murray. Emily Murray, in my opinion, as PR chair, she was in the office on day one. Day one of the election, asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? What is this? What is that? I didn't do that when I was running. I kind of stayed away. I didn't really consider it to be a place I could go to. Student government's office is a place for everybody. And Emily got that on day one. So I was really taken aback by that level of dedication, that level of determination, that level of consistency that I saw. And she not only did she create posts that night, she consistently created posts throughout the entire week. And I'm going to keep using those words a lot because I was really, 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 really proud of these nominees pushing forward and pushing through, because they are, without a doubt, the biggest reason why we had a record-breaking amount of votes and why we had such high participation for this election. Business, the College of Business here on campus. Sydney Fisher and Tara Robinson, those two are now your representatives on Kutztown University Student Government Board for the College of Business. We have one new VPA, which is Visual and Performing Arts, which I am a representative of. We have Danae Savage, who's currently in the Student Government office, talking up, having a good time, learning the ropes, learning how to communicate with people, learning who to communicate with. That's a tool that we provide. A lot of stuff happens here on this campus, folks, a lot of stuff. A lot of people have questions. A lot of people think people don't communicate. Not true. Sometimes you just need to know who to communicate with. And we're here not only to help you find the right people, we're also here to talk to those people for you. That's the goal here. Danae is off the ground running. The day after she was announced as a winner for the college, she's already in the office talking about how she can improve her college. So you got a good representative there. And as for a new student representative, that means people that have less than 20 credits, generally speaking, not necessarily freshmen, have less than 20 credits on this campus at the time of nomination, is Ignacio Dinaka. So we have a decent amount of people here that ran a consistent campaign, that were incredible in how they were communicating who they were, why they were, and how they were. And wait, we have one more. At large. Alexi Dongvort. When I say at large, I mean undecided, undeclared. Those who aren't really part of a college and then collectively as a whole represent everyone else. So the at large isn't really regulated to just one single group. Now, as the student government's PR chair, like I've mentioned, unheard of, unrivaled, never seen before participation, never seen before promotions, never seen before participation on both ends. There were so many votes, there was so much solid campaigning for not e-board positions, mind you, general, regular representational positions. I am really, really, really excited about what next semester holds for your representation here at Kutztown University Student Government Board. And if you would like to know more, we do meet on a weekly basis every Tuesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. in MSU 223. It's the formal dining room. If you go to Cub, let me break it down for you. If you go to Cub Cafe and you got to make that right-hand turn, right? And you're walking, you have to make a right. Don't make that right. Just take a little left, and you'll head right over to the MSU formal dining room. Student government is there to hear you, to listen to you, to talk to you. So these are public meetings. You can sit down on them. You can yell at us. You can ask questions. That's exactly what we're here for. Not only do we have these meetings where there are public forums, you can come down to our office in MSU 196. We're there. There's always someone there. Our e-board lives, they sleep, they breathe, they eat. I don't know how our e-board has time to do the things they do, but they do it, and they do it mostly in that office. So again, MSU 196. It's down by the Alumni Auditorium, the KUR studios, and the Keystone newspaper. Hopefully you get a good understanding of where the student government office is with that context. My name is Michael O'Mara. I am the PR chair for Student Government Board. I will be stepping down this position. Clyde Kilbrew, who was featured here on Kutztown Live several months ago, will be taking the helm. So be sure to look forward to him on social media. Be sure to look forward to him doing promotional events all next campus. I will be assisting as well to the best of my ability on his committee. And I'll be sure to be back here to talk all about the things we are doing. So again, my name is Michael O'Mara, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come on to Kutztown Live and talk about the recent success here at the Kutztown University's Government Board student elections. You're listening to Kutztown Live with special guest host Michael O'Mara. I'm the president of Kutztown University Radio, and today we have KU grad student, KUR alum, and former treasurer, Patrick Dietrich. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm tired, I'm nervous, and I'm stressed, overworked, and I'm ready for a vacation.
Understand that it's the midterm time of the year. I actually have midterms going on myself right now, so in the same boat, get where you're coming from.
As a grad student.
Yep.
How's the grad student stuff going?
Yeah, it's going pretty well, actually. In the final year of the Student Affairs program at Kutztown. Yep.
Okay. You know, I'm a little curious, and I think people listening might be a little curious. Can you go a little more into detail about, you know, who you are, what you do, that kind of stuff? Just the general, like,
Yeah, sure. So like Mike said, my name's Patrick Dietrich.
What's up?
I was an undergrad here at Kutztown from 2010, fall of 2010 to winter of 2014. My undergraduate degree was in sociology with 2 minors in professional writing and psychology.
Minor in pro writing, too. It's an amazing minor.
Yep, it's a beautiful minor. While I was at Kutztown, I was super involved during my undergrad. So I first joined Hall Council as the secretary. Did that for a little bit.
Hall Council, RHA? Or is it
just Rothermel Hall.
Roth.
Yep, lived in Rothermel my first 2 years. Just went to Hall Council the first 3 semesters and was a secretary my final semester there. Moved off campus. I actually moved to the Cliffs, and I kind of realized I don't really have, once I'm removed from that situation of being in a residence hall, I kind of realized that I'm not as involved on campus as I'd like to be, because I don't have that constant, stimulation of having my friends right down the hall.
Yeah.
So what I did was looked into things that I could potentially be a part of. And the first organization I joined after leaving campus was KUR, and that was in the fall of 2012. I had my show, The Third Planet, for...
Third Planet.
Yep.
Shout out Third Planet.
For a little over 2 years. I had it once in my first semester of grad school, and things aren't quite as hectic as they are now. During my time at KUR, I helped bring Battle of the Bands to fruition, which was an event we had in spring of 2013.
President Allen, is that his name?
Yep, Allen. Allen was the president at the time. And in addition to KUR, I was the treasurer and then president of Sociology Club. I was a writer for the Keystone newspaper. I was the assistant web manager, then became the web manager. Helped roll out our new website my final semester. Was involved in NRHH. Was an orientation leader for Connections. Worked for housing. So I had a lot on my plate, but still managed to find that balance between the student affairs, organization, involvement kind of side, and the academic side.
Yeah, your last year, that last winter anyway, it's when I came here.
Yep.
Big reason why I came to KU was, you kind of recruited me in a little, not indirectly.
I was gonna say indirectly. I don't remember ever coming to your door.
No, yeah, knock, knock. No, but my Pat grew up very closely with one of my cousins. They went to the same high school, right?
Yep.
Yeah, same high school. In fact, our advisor went to the same high school. That's just weird. But my cousin told me, hey, I have this friend. I know you're you go to all these concerts. You like radio. These people that I went to all these concerts, I talked to their programming directors, their event coordinators. They told me get a comm degree. They said, join my radio station. So I was like, okay, gonna get a comm degree. I don't have a lot of money. Find a place that does it cheapest. Find a place that has a radio station. And it was Kutztown University. And when my cousin told me that he knew someone who goes to the university, who's involved, and is part of the radio station, that was you. And I bid at the opportunity. And I think I reached out to you indirectly over Facebook or something, just like, hey, what's up? And lo and behold, I walk in, and you're right there with, when I think of him, he kind of like a mop head, Brandon Kniff. He had that massive hair. It went down to his shoulders. Or was it at that point still? Was that cut?
At that point, I think I had a cut at that point.
Okay, so I seen pictures.
Rumors.
Heard rumors, yeah, the myth. But him and his best friend, Brandon Kniff, did this show, and I was able to shadow you guys, was able to see how it's done, and then you left. So that kind of made me sad, but I just want to firmly say you're pretty much the reason why. When I think about it, perspective, you're the reason why I came to KUR, not just KU, but KUR, and you're the reason why I was like, okay, this dude's got it together. This dude's graduating. This dude has an understanding of what he's doing. KUR did that for him. Hopefully, he can do the same for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was an inspiration. Seeing the organization was an absolute inspiration. So you said you were treasurer of the Sociology Club or KUR?
Both.
Okay. Both. Okay.
And of the National Residence Hall honorary.
You were tri-treasurer.
Yep. Not all at the same time, but
Okay. So you've held what 6-7 e-board spots
at least, yeah. I mean, I was president of Sociology
Undergrad.
Club. Yep.
Undergrad, 6-7 e-board spots. Man. And how did you find time to produce a radio show?
Well,
and host it. Like, what the heck?
I mean, I have anyone that knows me knows I have a deep love for music.
Okay.
My first concert was when I was 12 years old. It was actually Metallica in 2004.
I was 12. I saw Phil Vassar and Leanne Rimes. So we got a different vibe here.
Yeah, so ever since that first concert, something about the live music drew me, to keep coming back to it. And looking back, kind of like the story you just told about me, I kind of had with my brother, where looking back, he was a very indirect influence on the things I would end up doing with my life.
Yeah.
And during his time, he went to a school down near Philadelphia. He did a radio show there also.
Which school?
He went to Cabrini.
Oh, no idea, but cool.
Yeah, it was Cabrini College, and now it's Cabrini University, near Eastern Villanova, that area.
Okay.
And I remember my dad and I, this is how long ago it was. I remember my dad and I used to go online and listen to it. And the way you would request a song or talk to them would be through AOL Instant Messenger.
And now it's dead.
Exactly. And come December, we will be taking our hats off in salute to AIM. But that was the way you could communicate with them. They had their own screen name, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, I mean, it was a great radio show, but I know from what he told me firsthand that Cabrini didn't have the rigorous training that you go through to be a veteran show host here at KUR.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of, when you say rigorous, do you mean it was informative, or do you mean it was time consuming?
Definitely, it was very, very informative. As I said, coming into Kutztown, I had a deep love for music, and I knew I wanted to do something with that. But I didn't have the technological background. I didn't have the broadcasting background.
I feel that.
To go on the radio.
Yeah.
And I remember doing my first shadowing, my first kind of anything live on the radio. I was super nervous.
You were shaking?
Yep, shaking.
Yeah.
Didn't really know what to say. Turned off the mic. Was like, I could have said it so much better than I did.
Yep.
And those feelings and those that nervousness kind of persisted throughout the training. But I think it's one of those things, like anything has to get better with over time.
Yeah.
And here I am. I'm talking to you, and I didn't have any nervous jitters. I haven't been on the radio in a while.
Come back.
Exactly. And speaking of radio too, as I mentioned earlier, we'll see what next semester brings and the busyness compared to this semester.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, my education was in sociology with 2 minors in professional writing and psychology.
Yeah.
Nothing really broadcast based or electronic media based. However, during my gap year, which when I graduated at the time, I didn't see grad school in my future. So I guess it wasn't a planned gap year. But during my gap year, and during the first semester of grad school, I actually worked at a radio station.
Yeah.
I worked at WEEU out in Reading.
WEEU. I forgot about this. I completely just blocked out of my head.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a student that really, through academia, had no training, no classes in electronic media, in broadcasting, KUR provided me enough and gave me enough guidance and gave me enough, confidence and encouragement and support that I could go out and within 6 months of graduating, get a job at a radio station.
Yeah. And was it a part-time or a full-time gig?
At the time, I did Sundays 12 to 5. I went 12 to 5, or you could go a little bit over, depending.
You were on the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was on the air. I did.
That's not easy. Yeah, that's a lot of commitment. That's a lot of trust from the programming director to get on there. I've heard how rigorous some of the training processes are within iHeartMedia, and you were able to get a job as a sociology minor, able to get a position, and then get on the air for 5 hours on a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the air. So one of the opportunities KUR provides is during the football season, they have a board op at the station working with Matt Santos,
That's the away games.
Who does the away games?
Yeah.
I did that my last semester. And honestly, what I did at WEEU was the exact same thing. A little more complicated, but the same idea. I board opped the Philadelphia Phillies and Philadelphia Eagles games.
Okay.
And the Philadelphia Sixers games. I board opted them. I connected to their satellite. Ran cues, ran spots, ran advertisements, and I had all that experience through KUR. And the fact that I came in already with that experience was actually very beneficial to me because I was able to start with a higher rate per hour because they didn't have to train me on that because I already had the training through the university.
Nice. Like that, I'm a little speechless. But nice. I didn't know. I just thought you kind of just hung out there. I mean, I'm not trying to insult you or anything like that.
No, yeah, and
I just thought you kind of went there and you were there. It's like, oh, there's this kid who went to KUR, and then you were just kind of there in the background. I didn't know the scope of this.
Yeah, and I was on the air. When I was there Sundays 12 to 5, I was the only one there from 12 to 5.
Yeah.
I was the only one in the entire station. I had people's emergency contacts, sure. But if anything immediate happened, they trusted me enough to, know what to do.
Yeah.
And after the game was over, I would go into the news studio and record the news for the rest of the night. Know how to save the files so that way they're triggered by their system. And then once they got a little more trusting of me, I used to, so WEU in the morning they have a talk show, and they have a sports section, a news section, and kind of like the main person that runs the show. I would frequently substitute for the sports person. And I would find sports in the morning. I would give sports reports, sports updates, and just kind of have on-air banter. And I had to get up. It's in Reading, and I live in Bethlehem, so it's about an hour drive.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember.
I had to wake up at 4 a.m, drive to Reading, get my sports stuff ready, be on the air, and then I would usually take calls or run the board for Mike Faust when he did his show at 9.
Shout out Mike Faust.
Yeah.
So what you learned here, what you did here, and how well you did it translated into a professional, would you say career or would you say opportunity?
It was an opportunity. I mean, I definitely I think with, as I said, I had the experience at KUR to pursue a career in radio if I had wanted. However, I knew as a career, my heart was in something a little more sociological, just because that's what my background was in.
Yeah.
But I mean, during that gap year, it definitely gave me I had a more fulfilling job than just working like a seasonal shift or something.
Yeah. It's not like I'm not trying to do, working at a grocery store or something like that. Like I did that for it eats at you. It eats at you. So that's absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is kind of backtracking a little bit, but
Sure.
Why did you come to KU in the first place? You said you came here in 2010.
Yep.
What made KU stand out from your perspective? That's 7 years. So, yeah.
I know. Kutztown definitely has a special place in my heart after all of these years, and the way that was kind of ignited, I guess you could say, is
Ignite your inner golden bear. Hashtag.
Right. My uncle actually went here in the 80s, and he used to tell me stories about, I think his first year here was 1980. I think he was here from 80 to 84. He lived in either Schuylkill or Lehigh, one of the Tri-County residence halls.
Okay.
But he used to tell me stories about, coming to Kutztown and, what a scene it was when the Phillies won their first World Series. And just him talking about it really made me, consider coming here. And then I came here with my cousin, my dad, and my uncle on a campus tour. And it was probably around this time 2010, mid-October, a day much like today, which you can't see because we're on the radio. So it's clear skies, no clouds, a beautiful day out.
Yeah.
And the campus just spoke to me. I loved the campus. And one of my favorite things I always tell people when I talk about Kutztown who've never been here is I love the divide that Main Street brings to the campus. So, for instance, at least in my mind, all of the academics are on one side of the campus, and then you walk across Main Street, and you have the residence halls, you have the dining halls, and it kind of I feel like it's a very sensory thing, but it removes you from that situation. It removes you from academics, so you truly have a time for self-care, which some people may not say self-care is important to a student, but self-care is vital. Exactly.
Sleep, eating, social activities, just making sure that those things are consistent in your life, for sure.
Definitely. And the layout of the campus really encouraged students to take care of that.
Yeah. You mentioned that when you moved to the Cliffs, you joined KUR. That was the first. You said it was the first organization you joined when you moved off to campus. Is that correct?
Yep, correct.
Well, why did you join it?
I joined it because, like I said before, my deep-seated love for music.
Okay.
I feel like it's a pretty basic thing, but the meeting times are very convenient for someone. They were during the free hour. So
Tuesdays at 11.
Yep.
LC 113B.
Yep.
Yep. Still there.
Those were convenient for me to attend, and just the people there were the people I wanted to be around and associate myself with. People who, because going through that semester-long training, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. People who go through that really want to be a part of this organization, really want to be a part of something that is fulfilling and brings life to this campus. The first semester after I went through training, so when I was an official member, we had Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
We had a lot of really good bands there. Some of my finest memories from Kutztown are sitting in the lobby of KUR, deciding which bands we wanted to play Battle of the Bands. So we ordered like 6 pizzas and had a CD player because everyone had to submit their stuff via CD. And we were just sitting in there listening to all of their submissions and just talking about it. And I remember this is kind of a shout out to one of my friends' bands, Stargazer. Shout
out Stargazer.
Yeah, they played our Battle of the Bands, and right now they just came out with their new album. They're touring for it, and they played our Battle of the Bands. And the first song on their submission has kind of like an acoustic-y beginning.
Yeah.
And then it kicks into this super heavy, super powerful music. And our president at the time, Alan, was kind of sitting on the speaker, kind of leaning up against the wall. And then when that monster's like between the acoustic and the powerful hit, he jumped. He was like, holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
And just like that, that day of bonding with people, event planning, doing all of this kind of work for an event that would be for the community was kind of really inspiring. And that's one of my favorite memories of Kutztown, is being able to facilitate something for the students.
When where did that happen? Where did Battle of the Bands take place? Because I don't think I was here when that happened.
It took place on the DMZ.
The DMZ.
Yep.
Okay, like what, a big white tent was set up, and you had how many? Off your memory, how many people do you think showed up?
I'd say probably between 100 and 200.
That's decent.
Yeah, we had it. I believe that the running time was from 6 to 9.
Okay.
And we had the judges were actually we had different we had 3 from a group of like administrators, staff, and faculty.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the judges was my former sociology professor, Dr. Fu.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember he was one of the judges. I don't remember the other 2 particularly because I didn't have that connection with them. But yeah, I remember the 3 of the bands I played were Stargazer, Lastronaut, and the Groove Merchants. And I know the Groove Merchants just played Radio 104.5's Block Party.
104.5 Block Party.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're doing it.
Yeah.
You're a graduate student here. You were graduating this semester or the following?
May of 2018.
May of 2018.
Yeah.
I'm as the president of radio station, my wheels are kind of turning. Like, is this something feasible? Would it be something positive here at this university? So, what if you graduate?
Yeah.
You're a graduate student. You're doing your thing, and you get an email from the Alumni Association or something like that, and just goes, KUR is doing Battle of the Bands. How would you feel about that?
I'd be super ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
I mean, as a KUR member, that was the one big event that we put on. I mean, I know KUR. One of the fundamental things about them is that they DJ other people's events. They DJ on the sub lawn.
Free DJing, free hosting, all that stuff. Yeah.
And
Promotion.
Battle of the Bands was really like the one big event that we got to do. That was our event.
Yeah.
And honestly, if KUR had a Battle of the Bands as an alumni, as someone who was deeply invested in KUR, I would love to somehow the first thing I would do is message Mike Regensburger and say,
shout out to Mike Regensburger.
We're just doing all the shout outs in this interview.
Yes, we are. August 2017 Employee of the Month, Mike Regensburger.
I would reach out to him and ask, how can I help? Because I remember that was such a huge event for me.
Yeah.
And especially now with my student affairs background, my internship right now is over at Lafayette. And one of the things I'm helping with is actually planning their spring concert.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, so I'm still doing these sorts of events, and I think I would go up to Mike and say, hey, how can, I have this expertise, if not to help out on like on a rolling basis, maybe just to come in and speak to the committee who's planning this event and give them advice on how to properly event plan, how to, time management, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to contribute.
I was going to ask you that question. That was I was in my head. I'm like, I got to ask him what he did with that, what he did in general. How is that affecting him right now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your internship solely, that's exactly what it is. Kind of, but you're planning a concert because you planned a concert, and you have that experience, and it's because of KUR.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning, I'm in their student leadership and involvement office, and it's all event planning. And though it's not, though every event isn't a concert, we already had DJ Earworm in September, so that was already one concert. We have comedians coming in, and honestly, one of the things I learned on the first week at the internship site is they don't have the student leadership and involvement office is in charge of all the equipment. They're in charge of all the mics. They're in charge of all the speakers. They're in charge of all the amps. They're in charge of all the cords. And we had an issue with the first night with the speakers not working. And with my radio background, I knew what to do. And if you would have told me, 3, 4, however many years ago I was in KUR, that I'd be using that particular skill set in student affairs in my graduate internship, I would not believe you, because I feel like that's so far-fetched, but it happened. And that was, ever since then, whenever we rent out the equipment, because we have we rent it out, they bring it back and everything.
Yeah.
My supervisor always brings me in with her, and she's like, I just want to make sure, because you know this stuff better than I do. And this is someone who is got hired to be in this position.
Yeah, I get that. There you go. You're
the radio guy.
Radio guy. President, radio guy. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm more than just radio. I have feelings.
Right.
I have feelings. But that's absolutely phenomenal. Seriously. I don't know if I'm allowed, on behalf of KUR, I mean, thank you. I mean, seriously. You're probably one of the first alumni that I've been able to sit down and just communicate this kind of feedback. I really appreciate this opportunity. We're going to be doing this more.
Awesome.
With everybody, and we'd love, if any capacity, you come back, whether it's a station ID, whether it's a promo, whether it's an interview, anything, you're welcome.
Awesome.
And if any alumni is out there listening right now, it's exactly that's the same invite to each and one of you. Talk to Mike Regensburger. Come into this office. Sit down. There is a studio here at your fingertips. All you have to do is show up. So Pat Dietrich.
Yes.
Thank you.
KUR Kutztown.